Hello, everyone. It is Wednesday, so you're halfway through the week. Hopefully, you've had a good start to your week. I am going to be doing the examples that are in your book on page 470 and 471. If you would like to follow along in your book, that's fine. If you want to follow along by writing out the examples as I do on a scratch piece of paper, it's whatever works best for you. We're not going to be drawing algebra tiles today. So you don't need colored pencils or anything like that. I'm just going to jump in and start on example 1. So example 1 in your book is solve 2x plus 3 equals 9. Again, we're always going to draw our line down the middle so we can split both sides of our equation. So we always work on the side that has the variable. We have a plus 3 with that variable, and we need to get rid of it. So in order to get rid of a plus 3, we're going to minus 3. What you do to one side, you do to the other. This makes a 0 pair, so I'm left with 2x equals, if I have 9 and I take away 3, I'm left with 6. Okay, we know that 2 and x are multiplied together, so the opposite operation would be to divide. We're going to divide by 2. What you do to one side, you do to the other. Divide by 2. X equals 6 divided by 2 is 3. We can always, I haven't showed you this, but we can always go back and check our answers. So I could see what I get for x, plug it back into my original equation, and see if both sides of the equation equal each other. So I have 2 times, I got x to be 3, plus 3, and I want to see, do I get 9? So if we're doing orders of operations, we would multiply first. 2 times 3 is 6, plus 3. 6 plus 3 is 9, so 9 does equal 9. Therefore, I know x equals 3 is the right answer. No, I'm not going to make you go back and always check your answers, but that's something that if you're not sure if your answer is right or not, you can always do. All right, example 2. I have 3x plus 2 equals 23. Draw my line to split my equation. I always work with the sign that has the variable, so I have a plus 2 next to that variable. So in order to get rid of it, I'm going to subtract 2. I made 0 pairs, so I get 3x. And on this side, if I have 23 minus 2, I get 21. I know that 3 and x are multiplied, so the opposite operation is division. So I'm going to divide by the number with the variable, which is 3. What you do to one side, you do to the other. X equals 21 divided by 3 is 7. So we're sticking with that same thought process that we did when we were solving one-step equations. Opposite operation, opposite operation, opposite operation. All right, we're moving right along. Example 3 in your book is negative 2y minus 7 equals 3. Draw my line. All right, I always work with the side that has the variable. So with that variable, I have a negative 7. I need to get rid of that negative 7, so I'm going to add a positive 7, which you do to one side, you do to the other. This gives me a 0 pair. I'm left with a negative 2y is equal to, if I have 3 plus 7, I get 10. All right, opposite operation. Negative 2 and y are multiplied, so the opposite is division. I divide by a negative 2, divide by a negative 2. Y equals 10 divided by negative 2. A positive divided by a negative is a negative, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. So y equals a negative 5. Make sure, I remember when I was checking your one-step equation, some of us forgot this negative when we were dividing by that. Don't forget that because having $5 is different than owing someone $5. So make sure you always pay attention to those details. All right, I got example 4 for you. We have 4 plus 1/5 r equals -1. Okay, don't freak out just because you see a fraction. We've actually done fractions already with one-step equations, so it shouldn't be that much different for us. So again, we draw our line down the middle of our equal sign to split up our equations. I always look on the side that has the variable, so I have 1/5 r, so there's my variable, and with that I have 4 positives. So in order to get rid of those 4 positives, I'm going to add 4 negatives. This made a 0 pair. I'm left with a positive 1/5 r equals, if I have 1 negative and 4 negatives, I have 5 negatives. Again, 1/5 and r are multiplied, so the opposite is to divide. So I divide by 1/5, divide by 1/5. R equals, you remember our saying for dividing fractions, keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep the first one, -5, and put it over 1. Change division to multiplication, and flip 1/5 to make it 5 over 1. Now I just multiply. I have a -5 times 5 gives me a -25 over 1 times 1, which is 1. So r equals a -25. See, fractions weren't so bad. All right, so your assignment for today is going to be doing, got it, A through F. You are going to be doing this, submitting your answers in a Google forum. So I do want you to still write out all of the steps that I did, like I did in this video, even though you're not submitting your work to me. It'll be a lot more helpful if you show me the work. That way, if you I have a question, it's a lot easier for me to see your work than try to describe it through an email or something like that. So please, please, please show your work, but submit your answers on that Google forum.